G'day guys, and welcome to another YouTube lesson. Today we're going to take a look at the role of marketing. Now this is the last business function that we'll be looking at our school. Just a reminder that we took a look at HR, finance, operations, and for us, our final one is marketing. Now we're looking at the role, the job of marketing. What is it there to do? And we'll look at the first three syllabus dot points in terms of marketing. The first one is the strategic, the long-term role of marketing goods and services. The second dot point we'll be taking a look at is interdependence with other key business functions. I shouldn't have to really teach you that because we've looked at it with the other business functions and it should therefore be redundant. But it's my job, I have to make sure I go through this again, but you should already know how they all work together because we've already looked at how marketing works with each of them when we addressed each other business function or the other business functions. We'll also look at the third and last dot point today, which is the production, selling, and marketing approaches. Now, role of marketing. What is marketing there to do? What is its job? What is its key function? Marketing is the process of developing products and implementing a series of strategies aimed at correctly promoting, pricing, and distributing the product to a core group of customers. Marketing is not just about selling the good or the service. It's also not just about the correct pricing. It includes the design of the product and the distribution of the product. So it's that marketing mix that needs to be looked at. A lot of kids just think it's about the advertising or the selling of a product. By now, I hope you realize it's certainly not. Now, the strategic role of marketing. Remember the time frames. We look at that short term, the medium term, and the long term time frame. The short term is less than 1 year, and that's called the operational time frame, not to be confused with the topic operations. Then we look at the time frame that is between 1 and 3 years, which is the tactical time frame. And what will the marketing team look at between 1 and 3 years? Then we look at what the syllabus dot point says, the strategic role of marketing goods and services. What is the marketing team looking at doing in the longer term, the 3+ years, and so on? Now, in terms of the strategic role of marketing, the main goal or job of the marketing team is to increase the business's market share. That's its key strategic goal, the strategic role of marketing. There are 4 avenues, 4 ways in which that can happen. That is to provide greater choice, to increase a business's standard of living and customers' standard of living, to provide greater employment, therefore better coin and wealth. That can lead to more sales and greater market share. And finally, better brand awareness. And therefore, you'll have a greater market share. More people know about your product, then you're going to have greater sales and greater market share. Now, if we take a look at the first thing, this is its main goal, the main role, long-term role or job of marketing. It's market share. And what does that refer to? What's it about? Market share refers to the percentage of total sales a business has compared with its competitors in a particular market. The purpose of attempting to increase the market share of a business is to increase the business's sales and profitability. Greater market share means greater sales, and it means greater level of profits. Right, now achieving this business allows the business to become stronger and customers better aware within that business's marketplace. As I said before, it is the main long-term goal of marketing. Now, how can this occur? How can we increase a business's market share? Firstly, through choice. In order to increase market share, a business must distinguish its products from that of its competitors. By giving a customer greater choice of a business's products, then the business generally will sell more products. Example, you've got just an iPhone, But wait, I'm Apple, I'm going to also sell an iPad. Already, some customers will purchase both of these items, whereas before they would just have had one iPhone. Greater choice, greater sales, and greater market share. Now, the second of these avenues, these ways to be able to achieve greater market share is through standard of living. All right. In order to increase market share, a business needs to develop and market products that meet the customer's wants and desires. The business therefore creates and markets new products that will enhance their customers' lifestyles and therefore improve their standard of living. I'll give you an example. Apple created the iPhone. This met the want element and led to improvement in customer standard of living. Another good example is in terms of cooling devices. I used to have fans back in the day. That was all you had. All right, but now we have air conditioning. So I don't know who the first business was that designed and developed air conditioning, but what they did to increase their market share sales of cooling agents like fans was to come up with an air conditioning unit. This has improved my standard of living, my lifestyle, because I purchased one of these and therefore increased my standard of living. But by doing that, more was sold and improved the market share of that particular business. It'd be nice to have some air conditioning in all of our classrooms. That's not to happen yet in my room, but maybe one day. All right, employment. This is a harder one to sort of link back to market share, but it's one you need to mention. In order to increase market share, a business will need to employ and train its marketing staff to come up with new and fresh ideas. Therefore, the strategic role of marketing is to hire and train staff to increase sales, and doing so, therefore, increase market share. But in return, it is those very workers who will earn a wage. Those very workers who are employed by a business will purchase more of a business's products. More of the business's products are sold, that market share will increase as well. So by providing employment to workers, you'll hopefully increase your market share in two ways. One is those workers generate better advertising campaigns, better pricing strategies, improve distribution, and therefore improve market share. But also they will have an income to purchase more of your products. Last avenue for improved market share is brand awareness. In order for a business to increase their market share, the business will need to create greater brand awareness. They will need to better position the product in the mind of the consumer. So I'm Pepsi, and I'm probably positioned or ranked second in the mind of most consumers. The role of the marketing team in the long term is to improve that brand awareness so that when a customer is asked, you want a cola? Okay, sir, ma'am, what brand are you after? For the majority, they'll say Pepsi. That's improved brand awareness. And if they can do that, they'll improve their sales, hopefully at the expense of Coke, for Pepsi's sake, and therefore their market share is improved as well. All right, that's all about that role or that strategic role of marketing. Market to maintain and grow market share. The second of the dot points looked at today is interdependence with other key business functions. Questions to you to check that you've been listening. How many business functions are there? If you said 4, well done. You don't have to drop business studies. What are those business functions? You tell me. If you said finance, HR, operations, and marketing, very good job. Now you need to be able to, you yourself, not the teacher, you need to be able to make sure that you can say how they are reliant upon each other, how they need each other to survive. So I'm going to go through some examples now, but make sure you yourself can check with your mate that you both understand how marketing needs finance, finance needs marketing, how operations needs marketing, and vice versa. Right, marketing requires HR. That's the workers in order to work, as it is the people that are there marketing and creating these advertising campaigns. Without good quality, well-trained HR workers, then you're not going to be able to create a product. You're not going to be able to effectively price a product, to be able to distribute a product, or to be able to promote a product, if I didn't already say. So HR is vital for marketing to be able to work. Marketing is extremely reliant upon HR. Now, what about operations? Marketing requires operations because it needs to talk to operations in relation to the design of its new product. We'll look at this in a second, but under the marketing approach, as opposed to the selling approach, marketing liaises with, talks to operations and informs them of what they would like to do with their next product range. You know, if they come up with some crazy, stupid idea, if marketing do, that operations in no way can create, then it's not going to be very effective. So they tell operations what they want to see happen with their latest iPhone or whatever it may well be, and operation discuss about what pricing would likely be the outcome, and whether they can in fact actually do what marketing would like given the current technological advances that they have at their disposal. All right, what about finance? Marketing doesn't need finance, does it? Of course it does. Marketing requires finance, a whole range of reasons, but a key one. Marketing need to be able to design a marketing campaign. It's very labor intensive, lots of workers. They need to be able to pay for advertising spaces, all right? And they need to be able to get money from finance to be able to do all of these things. In return, the marketing department, hopefully, will generate greater sales and income, which goes into an income statement for finance. And hopefully marketing will generate greater profitability, which is one of finance's key financial objectives. Almost done. The last of the syllabus dot points today is the different approaches to marketing. We have the initial production approach, then the selling approach in the 50s, 60s, 70s, and then we've moved on in the new millennium to the marketing approaches. What's the production approach? It is a 1920s marketing technique. It relied solely on a business producing a good quality product with limited or no competition. So it was high quality, lots of demand, and there was limited supply. Consumers brought the product because their parents and grandparents had probably brought the similar product when they were, alive, and the quality product was what sold itself. But in the 50s and 60s, time moved on. Businesses realized that if they could sell a product to the masses, then they would be able to increase its sales, especially against some competitors. So as competition in the marketplace increased in these 50s and 60s, businesses realized that just producing a sound quality product would no longer really cut it. And therefore, the production approach, as it was, is kind of dead. Now, in terms of the selling approach, this is about a business first creating a product, and then once the product's already been made, and it might have been created years ago, decades ago, then they come up with a clever way to sell the product to its consumers. Often advertising and mass marketing were the way in which these things were done. There's not much customization under the selling approach, which is where it differs from mass marketing, and the product itself is made before any real thought in how it will be marketed to the consumers. That's an afterthought. Now, in the new millennium, they've come up with this marketing approach. What's that? It's the final approach, and it flips marketing on its head. And it's about trying to find out what individual customers want and customizing a product as much as possible to meet those specific requirements. It's about developing relationships, ongoing, hopefully lifelong relationships with your customers. As I said, customizing products where possible to those customers' needs. But the biggest difference between the marketing approach and the selling approach is that the marketing approach is about coming up with the products that a business would like first off through market research and finding out what a business's customers are interested in. Then this is where the interdependence comes into play. A business will liaise with operations and get them to create a product. The other way around is the selling approach, where a product's made and then as an afterthought, it's marketed or sold. That's what's called the selling approach, sold to the customers. With the marketing approach, think customization, a newer method, and you have where the customers are surveyed and what their wants and needs are is used to tell operations how they should create the product. All right, guys, thank you for listening and see you next time.